Hey everybody, welcome to Boston, to Boston's Logan International Airport, courtesy of Mr. X6. The reason I've got the ugly frame rate counter up there, obscuring at least a little bit of this mighty tableau of this beautiful airplane here, is because we're in, as you can see by the flying jetway parts and pieces, we are in a beta. We are wow. Screw flying monkeys, look at that. It's flying airport signs. This has nothing to do with Mr. X. This has everything. It's beautiful. Man, it's a good thing. It's a good thing Sully and Skiles didn't hit this. They would have been screwed. This is X-Plane 10.5 Beta 1, as you can see. Well, all right. Let's see if we can make them go away. Can they? All right. Well, anyway, I'm just showing you the just truly stunning frame rates you can get here. My settings, just in case you're curious here, because everybody asks. Not everybody doesn't ask me. Everybody asks everybody who puts something up on YouTube what your settings are. So I'll share my settings and then I'll blow you away with a little secret. Just this is an X99 motherboard with a 5820K clocked to 4.4, and it does have a 980 Ti. But a little secret I'll let you in on, and it will blow you away. It's HDR. 2 times SSAA plus FXAA, 4 times anisotropic filtration, and high world detail distance, extreme runway taxiway, populated trees, tons of objects, tons of roads, no cars, 100% cloud detail, extreme texture resolutions, frame rate locked to refresh rate of monitor, which in practice means anywhere from 60 to 30, or if it's really bad, 20. Volumetric fog. Runway does not follow terrain contours because I've run into too many bits of funky mesh that have made runways basically into ski jumps. So we're going to skip that. But as you look at this, and as you notice that our frame rates are 40, give or take, this is not 1080p, this is not 1440p, this is 4K, and an airliner, and that's pretty amazing. So I'm very impressed. Anyway, we're going to fly down to Kennedy on a route that was flown just a few hours ago by JetBlue Embraer 190, flight level 220. We are going to depart off of this runway here. We're going to fly the SOX, the SOX for departure, around here, then to Buzzards Bay, and then to Sandy Point, at which point we'll pick up the Roberson 1 arrival right here, fly it on in, and then we will fly it to 31 right to this arrival right here via the Catod transition. So that is more or less what we're going to do. We've been cleared up to altitude. We're going to take off in heading select mode. There really are no restrictions except above restrictions. One thing to be aware of when you upgrade to 10.5 beta is if you've got any key strokes bound in the IXEG, it blows them all away and you have to reset them. So that can be a problem. Other than that, and other than the flying floating jetways, so far so good. We've got our V-speed set, we've got our RTO set. We really should check our route here, which I did not do. Alright. Yep. Alright. Check our legs. gonna go to... Oh boy. Okay, well no, it didn't save any of our procedures. I saved a company route and I forgot it doesn't save procedures. It basically saved everything in between, so let's put in our departure. Okay, totally forgot about that. That's a gotcha. If you want to save a route in here, it only saves the en route portion. I don't know if that's a real world limitation or whether that's a simism. But we want to depart off of 4 right, and we'll execute that, and now that puts us going where we want to go. And now we will do our arrival. And we're doing Robertson 1 and Sandy Point transition. And we will plunk ourselves down on the ILS 31 right via Cathod. Alright, now got a discontinuity here. We will clear that. Okay, and we've got a discontinuity here, and we'll clear that. And we'll also delete JFK because inexplicably that ended up in there. And we can only do that on the legs page. So onto the legs page we go. Nahant, Herbay, Orr, that's Bobby Orr, Fenway is in Fenway Park. Next page. Jester, Sox, Buzzard, Sandy Point. Oh, we've got a mess here, so we're going to delete Cathod. And we're going to delete JFK. That'll give us a discontinuity. Okay, Robertson, Cathod, Maldi. Should be Zulab after that. Let's see. Yes, Zulab, 31 right, and our missed approach, which goes all the way out to Colts Neck, New Jersey, so let's not miss that approach. Alright, now we are in good shape. Alright, having done that, let's pop outside again and see whether we still have flying jetways. Yes, we do! Whoa! I'm tripping, man. I'm seeing trails. Alright. Don't take the brown acid. Not only that, we're on 4 left and we don't want to be there, so let's just go to 4 right. And now we're on 4 right. And we've got our inner marker bleeping, so let's get rid of that. Boom. Boom. Spin this back down to -20. Put this back on map. Make sure everything else is copacetic. Runway heading is 036. Heading select. Got our V2 speed, got our speeds bugged, got our altitude set. Got our lights on, got our altitude set. Got our ground flight to flight. And sometimes that pops up a menu and sometimes it doesn't. And it would be wonderful if I could get rid of it. There we go. Alright, power's fine. Yaw damper's on. Lights, ignites. Breathing, heating, bleeding. All good. Alright, so armor auto throttle. Flight director's on both sides. Captain's priority. It is 2992 here. Unless the weather's changed, and I think the weather has changed. So let's just quickly get our ATIS. 1350.
Boston Logan INTL information X-ray. 1500 Zulu weather. Wind 080 at 9. Visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 9500 scattered. Temperature 17. Dew point 12. Altimeter 2982.
2982 now.
Departing runways 04
Good
left,
thing we checked.
04 right, 09. Advise on initial contact you have X-ray.
X-ray it is. Alright, and that matches our airfield elevation, so that all is good.
Boston Logan INTL information Yankee. 1500 Zulu weather.
Alright, here we go. Flight director on. Heading select on. Altitude set. Heading set. V2 speed set. Flaps 5. Brakes RTO. Alright, let's go flying. Okay, we got N1 and Toga. Looking for 80. We're going to get it pretty damn fast. We got it. V1 and rotate. And up we go. And up comes Mr. Gear. Switch into LNAV mode. And follow the cues. Wait for our thrust reduction. And then get ready to reach over with my opposite hand here. And spin this up to 10. There we go. Nose down to accelerate. That's close enough. Alright, start to bring in the flaps. And fly this beautifully harmonized bird. Get ourselves in level change mode. And if it's all the same to you, I'm going to fly the airplane for a little while. What I'm going to do is turn our igniters off. There we go. And turn our landing gear off. Try not to lower it. Turn our auto brake off. And our after takeoff flow is more or less done. And we're getting 50 to 59 frames right here. But then again, we're pointing at the sky, so... Just getting a little off course. comes our turn. Square up our heading bug just in case. I believe the flight director is set up for a standard rate turn. Let's give it to it. We're inbound now, or and you can see we're a little bit left of course, so correct. And we're above 10. So we'll do the flight sim thing and turn those lights off, but what we'll really do is get on the autopilot and check our pressurization and see that it is spot on. And we'll turn off the fasten seatbelt sign. We're in clear air. Got enough bleeds. Good, good, good. And spin up our heading bug. And let's speed up a little bit. You notice the nose comes down. Probably a bit much. Let's gather a little speed, see where it yields us. We are in course. What, inbound Buzzard? No, I'm sorry, Busick, which is probably a hockey player, if I had to guess. Alright, let's see what it looks like outside. Alright, no jetways here, and again we're pulling about 50 frames. That's really impressive. That is very impressive. Again, this is SkyMax and the real weather connector. Just looking really good. Any way you look at it, it looks good. I know I like the classic American colors, but I also like the Astrojet colors because they are, I think as I mentioned once, the colors of my early childhood memories of aviation. Flying from LaGuardia to Louisville, Kentucky with the family. Okay, let's set standard altimeter. And you know what? Let's hit VNAV. Let's just see how it does. It's going to want to go even faster, which is fine. Just resetting my view ever so slightly. You know, little artifacts here and there. The autogen is supposed to be better, especially with tall buildings in 10.5. Still have these little problems, but that may be a scenery design. I'm running Tony Wobb's Massachusetts Pro, although we're getting perilously close to Rhode Island, so. And that heading bug is spinning around courtesy of key binding, and that seems to be working okay. And we're on FMC speed, VNAV path, looking good. Do we have winds aloft? Yes. And the new version is also supposed to have winds aloft. Supposed to have winds aloft all around the world, not just North America, which is great. Alright, now let's just remember that we put in a planned fuel load, and we want to take that out because if we don't, it will not properly calculate our landing V speeds, and for some reason our transition altitude got screwed up here. It's been set to 5,000 ever since. I think there's probably some sort of preference you can set that at, but since this is going to be a short flight, let's get JFK weather and brief the arrival. Our arrival starts us right here, takes us all the way the length of Manhattan, Long Island, shunts us south to Roberson, and then brings us into 31 right, the ILS, and we're going to intercept the ILS, although it's not on this chart. We're going to intercept the ILS somewhere. Well, there's Happy, and there's Betty, and there's Wavy. These are all corresponding to departure fixes. Betty departures, Wavy departures, Happy departures, and Roberson departures, as a matter of fact. But we're coming in, and we're going to come in to Catod, which is somewhere around there. And you can see it right here. There we are. It's actually at the 228 radial from Deer Park. And looks like 111.5, 315. Just get that ready to go. Alright, we're turning from Sox to Buzzard, and then our next stop is going to be Sandy Point, and that's going to be the beginning of our star. So you can see this is going to happen pretty quick. What's my platform altitude? I would like to be at 3,000 by Catod. So let's just take a look there. I'll tune in the localizer in a minute. Okay, Roberson, 25 miles to Catod at 4, 6,000, 25 miles, doable, okay. Speeds are doable, but I'm going to slow them down. At Maldi, let's make it 180 at Catod. Catod. And let's do 170 at Maldi. I mean, ATC will want us to be as fast as possible. And Zulab, 160 at Zulab, that's fine. And I don't think you can go any slower here, but that's okay. We're not going to be managing speed through the VNAV the entire way. Okay, so we're inbound to Buzzards Bay. Looking good. Alright, 111.5, set that. I wish we had standby frequencies on each side, but we don't. Okay, 111.5. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see where we're going, not where we've been. Okay. and check our weather. 240 at 4, so there will be a slight crosswind off our left-hand side. And 2981. Set that in our standby. And we're pulling between 40 and 50 frames still, which is understandable. We're over water. I believe that's Narragansett Bay, but I'm not sure. Sure looks like it. Let's see, is it Narragansett Bay? Only one way to find out. That's Narragansett Bay. Alright, well, congratulate ourselves on picking out perhaps the most recognizable body of water for the entire flight, so no great shakes there. And I believe that is Providence KPVD, if I'm not mistaken. Sure looks like it. Let's find out. Can't tell. Alright. There is Sandy Point. Getting a little turbulence. Find out where our TOD is. "61 miles. Alright. We'll set a platform of 3,000. Because that's where we're going to intercept the glide slope. And we'll see how we do. We'll see how we get on. You know what I am going to do, though? I'm going to turn on... Well, you know what? It's just ugly as shit. And this is too beautiful a flight. So we'll just turn off. Not that. Data input, output, frame rate, there we go. Alright. As we get knocked around a little bit. Very nice. And yes, there we are. That is Narragansett Bay. Gorgeous. Very nice. This is HD Mesh version 3. Looks great. The frame rates in this airplane are really just wonderful. Don't know how they did it. Don't know what kind of secret sauce they used. But it's looking good. And SkyMax Pro in its, I think, 3.3 iteration is starting to look pretty good too. Now what I'm going to tune in Deer Park here, which is what, 117.2. Just so we can uh, 117.7. So we can get our final approach fix. I'll put it in nav 2. Okay, there's Parch, which is the beginning of the Parch 1 arrival. Let's see if we have any weather coming up. Point this sucker down a little bit so we can see something. Alright. There's our turn to Parch. And where is our top of descent? There's our top of descent. Right before Calverton, which used to be the Peconic, Grumman's Peconic plant, which made an awful lot of fancy high-end fighters. It's now a private executive airport with 10,000-foot runways. Alright, now we're getting screwed on frames, and I think it's because they're loading weather. I hope it's because we're loading weather. Oh boy. Oh, don't do this to me, please. Please don't do this to me. Okay, just loading some weather. That shaking is actually just turbulence. So we'll seat the passengers. And we'll get ready to do our descent. We will try another VNAV descent and we'll see how it goes, but what I want is to get our landing speeds. We'll land with flaps 30. We're going to be rolling out to the American Airlines terminal, of course. So 129. Get rid of that. And the app is about 134. Alright, come on. A little help here. There we go. Oh, that's about right. And we can keep our climb about the same. This is the 1.05 version of the 737. They've been coming out with patches like a house on fire, and a lot of things have been getting better about it. It kind of looks like Long Island. Not a lot of hills. The highest point on Long Island is Gordon Gekko's hairdo. I have no idea what that means. So this is Peconic Bay we're over. Our next stop is going to be Calverton. So we're going to basically come over the North Fork and then sort of bend in a little bit this way. See what kind of frames we're getting again. We're getting damn good frames. That's what we're getting. Very good frames. Okay. That's probably going to change as we get closer to Kennedy. And we're... If this plane's a-rockin', don't come a-knockin'. Listen to those directional sounds, and there we are. That's basically Montauk right out there. And the Hamptons over here. Fuck them. Hate the Hamptons. It's a shame. They once were a very lovely locale. Well, every place was once very lovely until people got there. It's always nice to be the first people. This is the airport a lot of the a-holes fly into in the Hamptons. I believe, as a matter of fact, that is a-hole municipal. But I could be mistaken. Come on. And the top of descent is practically upon us. 9 miles. What we're going to see, I hope, is the throttles roll back and then us go down gently. What am I looking for? I'm looking to scale down our map a little bit. There we go. Alright, so now we are picking up Deer Park. And just as a backup, our final approach, our turn to intercept, is going to be off of the 228 radial. And it's going to be 11.6. It's 11.6 miles out. So 315 is correct. 111.5 is correct. I'm going to set auto brakes to 1 because we want to roll pretty near the end to get to the American terminal, and here we go. Just going to match the throttles. Those are ghost throttles, and that tells you what position your hardware is in, and the other is the one that the autopilot is setting. And these lights are normal to light up like this, as whenever you roll off the power and start pointing your nose at the ground, it lights these things up just so that when you glance at your landing gear you can say, oh, should my gear be down or not? Now, in this case we know it shouldn't, but so we just disregard it. Check our cautions, make sure they're okay. Approach has been briefed. Landing altitude is set, although it should be a little lower than that. Cabin is depressurizing slowly. See what our passenger cabin temp is like. It is normal. Lights at the moment are normal, and anti-ice is not going to be needed because we might or might not be going through temperature. We're at -6 now, but we're not really going through moisture. And we're now 35 from Deer Park. At Deer Park, we're going to make a turn. Actually, at Robertson, I think we're going to make a turn. Actually, we're never going to make it to Deer Park. We're going to fly past Deer Park. And do we have DME on this, or do we need JFK for DME? Let's see. Oh, where's that notation? Let's just check our progress. Alright, we'll set local altimeter. And we're getting scenery loading again. Be nice to spawn that off on a different thread. Let's see, 2982 is local. There we go. And our MDA is going to be 213. There we go. Do we need drag? No, we don't. Not yet. I don't like the way it rolls the power forward while we're still descending. It should shallow out the descent a little instead. Don't like that algorithm. Alright, so there's Calverton. Should be seeing it practically. Let's see if we can find it. There it is. We're directly over it. You see that? That used to be the Grumman plant, or a Grumman plant. There it is. And I believe that's Islip right over there. And this is Great South Bay, and all of a sudden there's weather. Alright. Fair enough. And we are now inbound Robertson. And we've got 15 miles to go, and we've got to get down 4,000 feet. We can do that. Although it's going to ask for a drag because it's going to want to slow us. And actually we can stay at 200. Catod, so it'll be a little sporty. It is, as they say, having a think. Oh, let's see if it can regain its sanity here. If not, I don't think it will. Disconnect it and reconnect it. Let's see if it can get it. Come on. Alright, it can't, so we're gonna set 10,000 and do this all manually. Damn it. Alright, 10,000 to Robertson. Level change. Down we go. And we're going down at a hellacious rate. Let me give us some drag here. We do want to be able to slow down at some point. Like right about now. Let's flip our igniters on. Flip our lighters on. Alright, there we go. We have made Robertson at 10, more or less. Next, we'll go down to 4 for Catod. And we'll take out our drag. And now we're back on the profile. Do we want to risk it again? Let's try it. Back into VNav. Is it going to hold it? Is it going to hold it? Will it hold it? Yes! Alright. Heroic measures. There we go. Inbound cat-tod, at which point we'll get established on the localizer. Give it a little drag. Let it slow us. And it has screwed us again. No, it hasn't. Is it okay? Is it alright? It might just be okay. As we settle on to onto our glide path. Alright, let's look for that localizer. And to do that, we actually need to get back down to 111.5. Because I'm much more interested in that than in the radial off of Deer Park. Alright, so not picking up our localizer yet, and that's fine. Got 17 miles to come down, another 45. We can do that. There is our extended center line. There is our localizer, or there should be our localizer. We'll keep an eye out over here. And let's check our identifier. Is dot 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 dit dot dit dot dot dot. Make sure I've got that tuned in so I can ID it. Now I do. Okay, it's going to hold us 200 till Cat-Tod, which will be a little bit sporty. So, just to give us some help, alright, identified. And correct there, but we had a false reading to begin with, but not anymore. Drag required. What a drag. What a drag. Go to flaps 5. And the other thing we'll do is we'll get into VOR loc. Arm it. As we slow down. That should get us there. Check our cautions. Check our lights. Pressurization, fine. Yeah, fine. All right. And I think we are good to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get our sweet asses into heading select mode because I don't trust this LNAV or VNAV. And I'm also going to get an altitude hold mode. I'll actually keep our speed up a little bit. Alright, there we go. That's a reasonable speed. Alright, we should hit this glide slope just about perfect. If not, I will, come on. No, okay, so let's just get ourselves going down slightly here. And roll back our speed a little. 180, let's make it. Point our noses down. Get below the glide slope again. Make sure we acquire our localizer. We're just waiting for that. Meantime, our speed brakes are armed. And here comes the localizer, but we are above the glide slope. And that is a crying shame. But we won't be for long. I'm just manipulating the vertical speed here so that we are below. It's fighting us a little bit. So we're below the glide slope. I think that should do it. There we go. Yes. All right, we got that. Now we can slow gear down. Flaps 15. Square up our heading. That runway heading. Okay. Assess our winds. At the moment we have none. We are established. Come down to 150. All right. There's our runway. Come down to our VREF. I mean our VAP. There we go. Oh, little scenery loading here. Little weather loading. Alright. And a little... doesn't want to let me disconnect the autopilot. God damn it. My key bindings. Alright. Won't let me disconnect the speed. Alright, there we go. Gotta fix those key bindings. Get ourselves reestablished. My trim isn't working. There it is. Don't do that to me. Let's get a little bit more nose up. Ooh, that's a lot of aliasing there too. That's a hell of a lot of aliasing. Alright, we're stable. Got no wind to speak of. Ooh, that is really ugly to look at. Wow. It's bad enough it's 31 right, but that's just ugly to look at. Okay, you can lose about 2 knots. We're right on though. Speed brakes are armed, auto brakes are armed. There we go, we're right at V app. Below though. There we go.
400.
Ooh, look at that. That is atrocious.
300.
Clearly I need a better video card.
200. Light slow. Light slow. Light slow. 100. Light slow.
Now that's perfect.
Light slow.
Watch this. 50 over the numbers.
Light slow. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright, we'll make, what is it, whiskey? Yes, whiskey. Alright, welcome to JFK. And where the local time is... Ooh, look at all that aliasing. Jesus. That's really inexcusable. Alright. That is grotesque. Let's get to the American Airlines terminal and get squared away before we all get seasick. Alright, so off can come our lights, on can come our taxi lights, off can come our radar, up can come our speed brakes, up can come our flaps, over the bridge we go. Ah, what a piece of shit with aliasing this is, wow. I don't know whether that's X-Plane, whether that's my graphics settings, or whether it's the airport designer Drzewski, who also has shitty textures here, but on the other hand has designed one of the most beautiful New York City sceneries ever. And in fairness to the man and his team, if I'm not mistaken, this airport was designed about 6 months to a year before the New York scenery was designed and released. So this may not be, strictly speaking, state of the art. I do know that the textures are lousy, the frame rates are iffy, and this anti-aliasing is just awful. I can only imagine how bad it must be in, like, not 4K. Okay, so we'll go in here. And just turn off our taxi lights here so we don't blind anybody. Go into gate 42. And set the parking brake. Turn our APU bleeds on. Turn our others off. Turn our APU gens on. Our others automatically go off. Okay. Bim, bam, boom. We'll also... Nope, we're still pressurized. Power down. Now we can... Nope, still pressurized. Let's see what our cabin... There we go. Now I'll bet you we can open the... Can we? Yes. So that's how realistic this all is. That is pretty damn cool. And welcome to JFK. To the American Airlines terminal, appropriately enough. And that's sort of preview of, or an assessment of X-Plane 10.5 Beta 1. There are some problems with it. They will work them out. Otherwise, it seems very, very nice. No enormous problems. No enormous glitches. But, you know, it's probably going to be another 6 weeks, 2 months before, you know, the final version is out. And then it's, I hope, they say, on to X-Plane 11. And that looks slicker than rat shit. And we know how slick rat shit is. Anyway. It's always nice to see you. I'm going to be back in the Mighty Dash in Australia on the next flight. We're going to go from Brisbane to Cairns along the coast, and maybe bop over to New Zealand and do a little bit of crazy-ass New Zealand flying, because there's some crazy-ass flying to be had, and it is an unbelievably beautiful country, too. So, until then... Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all your comments. I do my best to answer all your questions. And see you again next time.